Welcome to the Learning and Development Podcast, sponsored by Infopro Learning. As always, I'm your host, Nolan Hout. Joining me today, we have Joanna Wroblewska, who has over 15 years of experience designing corporate learning experiences, instructional design, LMS, all types of experiences, working with some of the world's largest organizations, Bristol Myers Squibb, Microsoft, Google, et cetera, et cetera. Today, we're going to be talking with Joanna about her journey through L&D, some of the things that she's learned along the way, and specifically talk a little bit about how we can use technology to elevate learning, really regardless of what your role is in the L&D, function, whether you're the org role, trainer, facilitator, individual learner. But with that, we're not going to learn from me today. Let's learn from our guest, Joanna. Welcome to the podcast. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. Maybe I will start telling a little bit about myself. I like you mentioned, I have a nice experience working with L&D or maybe training in general, right?
Yeah.
And mentoring people. Currently, I'm a mentor at ATD, Puget Sound ATD. I am supporting some individual on their journey, which is exciting. And I also have a mentor because in being in the learning industry, I think the growth never ends.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, whether you're in the learning industry or not, let's hope the growth never ends.
Exactly. So I graduated with a master's degree, and 1 month later, I landed in the U.S., where I started, my journey at colleges and universities here as well. So having all this kind of knowledge and experiences in being as a student, I started my career, and I started my career from teaching in college, and that was a fantastic experience. And I always will remember this as a perfect experience for the first job, right? And
Yeah.
then I connected to learners immediately. I try to understood what they want to achieve, how they are, understanding the material, and how we can prepare better material for them. And that was the my first experience. And this experience stayed with me, and now I am a senior instructional designer at Puget Sound Energy, and I love it. And I totally love what I'm doing. And during those times of during my journey, I definitely get kind of insights
Mm.
how we as people can um, elevate our um, experience in L&D, and not only in L&D, in organization. And I don't want to put any organization on the spot, but in general, what I can say that we have like 3 levels of focus. One is leadership on executive level. The other is L&D trainers, instructional designers, program managers, and of course learners, right? And I'm using kind of terminology or metaphor that we live in ecosystem,
Mm-hmm.
learning ecosystem, and we need to function together, and we need to create our our connection and our vibe in order to achieve uh, company goals. And this is very, very important for this connection is very important. And now technology, how technology can help us to achieve those goals, how technology can elevate even better experience. And I watched your podcasts many times, and I see, first of all, you have fantastic guests. Thank you for sharing the people,
Yeah, the thanks
I
goes to them for joining this schlub on his podcast.
yeah, it's really fascinating to listen and hear, different reflections and different perspectives on learning and development on our work. But what I want to see, and you probably agree, that we live in a technology time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That everything is so focused on um, this tool and that tool and this platform and that platform, and we have AI and how we can use AI in L&D, and this is fantastic, and I love it, and I am the person who usually sends email to my manager, hey, we have update to this software, can we have this newest
Right.
version?
Yeah, this new thing.
Yeah, this is the new thing. But, I also recognize over the time that even with those amazing tools which we have, um, we need to focus more and align more our efforts with organization level. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I speaking of that, it's interesting that you bring that up. I was talking about just last week. I was at a conference, the Training Industry Strategy Conference, and I was speaking there about how to leverage AI strategy. And it was really interesting because a lot of what I traditionally, talk about and do webinars and, videos on is the hands-on use of AI. But as I was kind of preparing for this session, I actually did quite a bit of research into the strategy component of AI. And just try to get like a little bit more experience from others outside the organization and understand what was their strategy, because a lot of people are doing, right, they're out there
mhm,
doing, they're getting the cloud, they're getting the GPTs, they're doing this. And it was and I realized that the reason is that the amount of technology, the amount of the rate of change with AI is unparalleled. I mean, one of the things that I discovered is we're at 40% of adoption with AI in just 2 years in the United States.
mhm,
To give you some comparison, it took 12 years for computers to reach that level. So it took
mhm,
12 years before computers were adopted at 40%. We're 6 times faster than that. And that generates a lot of chaos, just to
mhm,
put it quite simply. And so your knee-jerk reaction is go out and get things. It's a simple way to do it. I don't blame them, right? Go out, buy this thing, buy that, whatever thing.
mhm,
But a report by MIT Sloan's their business college, and the gentleman that read it is who conducted the survey is the gentleman who wrote Blue Ocean Strategy, which is a very prominent business book. He was saying only 5% of AI projects achieved rapid revenue recognition, which is
mhm.
just amazing, right? It was just companies going out there, as you said, buying a software or doing something without the how does this fit into my larger
Yeah,
ecosystem. And
yeah.
so I think you're right on the spot there, the right way to look at technology is how does this play in this environment that we operate in versus just looking at it from, well, what is this one specific role in the company or one specific job that AI helps me do.
Mhm,
um, I would, it's interesting. I would also maybe caution people though, because there is a point in which strategy can suffocate you, I feel like.
Mhm.
You just get so caught up in trying to design something perfect and thinking so high level that you end up not doing anything. And with the pace of change being so fast, if you try to wait for things to cool down before you implement your strategy, well, good luck. It's not going to happen. So, I think there's like there's better terms for it, but in my mind, what I'm thinking of is almost like structured chaos. Like a strategy could be, uh, I want my team to go out there and find the best 10 tools and purchase those and acquire them
Mhm.
and then report back on how that is. It doesn't, that's a strategy.
Mhm.
What's not a strategy is to not have a strategy,
Yeah.
is to just let John buy this software, Jim buy this software, Sarah buy that software, and do nothing to try to integrate the three, do nothing to try to learn from the lessons of the three.
Yeah.
So, again, while we're talking about strategy, I also want to caution people. Sometimes a strategy can be as simple as let us go out there and learn a lot and come back and share it together.
Yeah. 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 I totally agree. I totally agree with that. And I also will add another piece that on executive level, company has certain goals.
Mm-hmm.
And we as L&D, we are kind of aligning to this strategy, right? Because we support our training supposed to prepare
Mm-hmm.
people for for
Yeah.
performance, for good performance, for achieving those goals, right? And we know the group of people, our target audience, and the age, the persona, I would say,
Sure.
right? The persona, and which kind of um, technology they will benefit from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because what I see, like you mentioned, you went to a conference recently. I am getting at least twice a week messages through LinkedIn from people who are developers of different, L&D tools. And I think those are great tools, but I don't know if we really need those. Um, Simply because we have what we have, and at this moment it's good. Can it this be better? Can this be elevated? Of course it can be, but is this really aligning with our strategy?
Yeah, the there was a lot of money made, still is a lot of money being made from a lot of SaaS organizations who
Hmm.
create pain points that weren't really there. They solve a problem, but it's maybe not the critical problem. A really, good use. So we do have to be careful because I think
Hmm.
you can go into one, as you mentioned, if you respond to all of those messages, if you're
Hmm.
always looking at the next greatest tool, you'll do nothing but be in demos all day long. You
Yeah.
just won't. I promise you, there's enough tools out there that's what you'll
Oh,
do,
yeah.
and then you'll be on their email list for like a decade. So good luck. But then there's also, I think I'm kind of like you where I do take them every now and then though. Like I feel like it's important for me to keep my sword sharp,
Hmm.
to know, and what I kind of tell myself is even if I'm not trying to buy the tool, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn the way that they're doing it or whatever they're pitching. And it helps
Totally.
me stay fresh and it helps me kind of get something, new to my repertoire. So
Oh,
again,
yeah.
just like anything, right? The answer is, should you take those calls? Well, it depends, but really don't, you can definitely get, especially these times with so many AI tools,
Hmm.
I must come across a new one every day that promises, end-to-end AI, create a course in 5 minutes. I'm telling you that doesn't exist. If anybody out there, please message me if I am wrong. Um, please do. I have tried CourseBox. I have tried Slice Knowledge. I have tried Storyline. I have tried any of these tools. Creating something that I would say is better than just creating an AI agent to give somebody a Q&A. I don't think I've seen something that can do that in 15 minutes. So very good. One of the things that you that we wanted to really pull down on was this idea of using technology kind of across these different areas. And so we start at the org level. What can an organization do,
Mhm.
and how does an org technology support learning at a trainer facilitation level, right? How are we using it in our presentations, and then at the individual learner level as well. um, let's start at the kind of the top, the org level. Using technology, what is really key for orgs to look at when they're looking at their tech stack of what they need to support a good learning ecosystem, training ecosystem?
I think, like I mentioned previously, we need to establish what are the goals, the company
Yeah,
goals,
yeah,
right?
has
What
to
is the
start there.
what is the size of the company? How
Yeah.
big are we, right? If there is a couple thousand organization, that the training delivery is different than for smaller organizations, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is number one, because then we can think about some LMS system, right?
Yeah.
But having LMS system, it doesn't mean that we have L&D.
No, 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 not at all.
But I came across during my career that kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We,
no, it totally exists. Yeah.
we bought that, so we are good to go. No, we did first step. This is very good step. We can deliver our trainings right now. We can, for example, Cornerstone. To Cornerstone, you can add plugins like Edcast or LinkedIn, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can purchase some licenses, and uh, learners, employees have plenty of opportunities to use those free trainings, right? Which we as L&D, we are not producing. But what I'm seeing other strategy behind that. I see strategy of creating learning culture.
Yeah, that's big.
That's huge. And even starting from small things like having Toastmasters at the workplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having leadership development, uh, promoting those, Edcast or LinkedIn or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It's like, hey, you guys have additional resources, right? So that will bring the culture, and that on an organizational level will create this kind of, okay, that's
yeah.
where we are.
I don't think we can stress enough the importance that an org drives on culture,
Hmm.
nor the importance of culture on driving learning.
Hmm.
If that is not part of your culture, it's really hard. Everything else you spend money on, you're going to be fighting uphill
Hmm.
because you're going to be working against the friction of the company saying, I don't like training. I don't like. So every time
Yeah.
you're pushing so hard, and then the second you stop investing, it drops back down. So you're constantly, so absolutely agree. At an org level, looking at the trainer facilitation level, how are
Hmm.
you seeing companies? Obviously we've got platforms like
Hmm.
this, technology, but what are you seeing to help enhance kind of that experience for trainers, facilitators?
Trainers and facilitators, I see very special role for them. In terms of using technology, um, they have a wonderful playground, I would say, to use those toys to enhance the training experience. They can create micro learnings. They can create blended trainings with, in classroom and some parties online. They can create special labs where technology is, like right now, my company PSE, they are opening training center in
Hmm.
YAP in Washington.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, fantastic facility with labs And the labs have newest technology for people who are learning how to, become electrician, etc., etc.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that kind of things helps to, people to learn. But for trainers, if I can finish, for trainers is the technology will not replace trainers. It will just elevate um, uh, their role.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right. There's kind of two folds of the trainer. There's the people taking it, and there's things like labs, simulations, things like that are bubbling up everywhere. For me, how I like to, if I'm a trainer facilitator, you have to realize that role is changing.
Oh yeah.
You already have experienced it. I
Right.
mean, you've already had to learn digital learning skills, but I think it's going to take one step further because people are going to need the human element even more so actually with AI. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to need a connector, somebody to connect the dots, somebody to say, give me some advice or help me find this tough to find answer.
Yeah.
You are going to be the proverbial bartender of the company who connects the person sitting at this end of the bar to that person and generate the conversation. So that's one skill, and we talked about technology. Unfortunately, that's not like a tech thing, but just to put that up. But technology for me, there's a couple things in my mind. One of the things that I do is I practice and I leverage AI to create better presentations. I
Oh yeah.
will
Oh
so
yes.
so like I'll use Claude, which is a GPT, so Chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT, that kind of tool, to help me. I'll turn an idea into a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So because I like to use that tool to then get my basis of what I'm trying to get done.
Yeah.
And then I'll use a tool. I use Gamma, Gamma. I think it's gamma.app, I think is the domain. There's a free version of it. I just
Yeah.
load in my brand and I say, create a presentation. Here's my outline. Now go create the presentation. And I am telling you, I actually got this feedback from my designer. I sent over the doc his way and I said, hey, I just need you to spruce up a couple slides. I wasn't able to get it how I wanted. And he sends it back and he goes, my team took a crack at it, but honestly, what you've got there in Gamma is better than what I did. So just go with your original version. And I have a design team. Like these are designers on my team, and they're like, it's actually pretty dang good. Go with it. So you have tools like Gamma that can help you
Mm-hmm.
create those. But then you can even go one step further, and you
Mm-hmm.
can actually practice this presentation. Right? You can either load a video in, or actually just talk, or load a script in
Mm-hmm.
into a Claude or a ChatGPT or
Yeah.
a Gemini, whatever it is, and ask for notes. And say, how did I do? What should I stress on? The last tool I think that you can use as a facilitator is not actually as a session, but as a leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
If you take all those notes, you take all those same things, throw it
Mm-hmm.
into a tool, Notebook LM, also free. Who doesn't love free? Load it in, and it's completely secure. It doesn't take it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't learn from your data or anything like that.
Yeah.
Throw that into Notebook LM, press a button, and it generates a podcast for you,
Yeah.
right? Leave this at, hey, thanks for coming as a special thank you. If you want to have a download of an audio to take along with you,
Yeah.
the finer points are here. So lots of cool things we can do, on a trainer facilitation, both to practice and kind of learn along the way. And then we have the last one, right? Is the individual learner. How is technology impacting them?
Well, technology brings them, a learning experience. Technology helps them to have better metrics, better understandings, more resources,
Mm-hmm.
and to sometimes individual may feel kind of intimidated to ask question
Yeah.
directly. So having like online version may be very helpful
Mm-hmm.
for him or her, right, or for them,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of go over the same material again. Um, I truly believe that if um, trainers, instructional designers understand the how and use different methods to help people learn and design the training by using technology, learners are quicker to adapt to company goals.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, which is, it's important though that, as you said at the very beginning, that you have to be attached to those goals.
Yeah, you have to be
It was so
attached.
funny. I saw this article, and I never do this. I saw this article on LinkedIn, and it was actually bashing kind of the Kirkpatrick model, the Phillips model of
Mhm,
learning
mhm.
evaluation and learning performance. And I I I wrote and I said, I'm sorry, but this is silly. To say that the reason that learning isn't being able to show ROI is because there's a flaw in the model. There's not a
Yeah.
flaw in the model. There's a flaw in your implementation of like all these models, Phillips, Kirkpatrick, whatever the model is.
Mhm.
Um, it's your ability to execute and implement that model, right? The very first thing of that study, it was so fascinating. The first, and this is why I actually made a comment on LinkedIn. I don't know if it got taken down or not, because but I said, listen, your first reason about why Kirkpatrick isn't a good model is because they found that 50% of the time people stop at level 2 evaluation.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Well,
That's
what's
the
the problem here? Is the problem the model? No, the problem is that we aren't even getting to level 3 and level 4, which is measuring business metrics anyways. So yes, is there a problem with the model for
well.
you specifically?
Mhm.
Maybe because it's hard to implement, right? Like maybe for your org, whatever it is, that's not the best model for you. But I do think, this is a long
I
tirade
just
to
yeah.
just say that as long as you're designing it, whether you use
Mhm.
Kirkpatrick or use anything else, I don't care, whatever, or not even a model, as long as you're connecting everything in this learning training ecosystem back to that business performance, as you said, yes,
Mhm.
every session, every 30 minutes, 15-minute, 5-minute
Mhm.
video, all of these little things, we don't need any more studies to show us the impact on the business. We
Yeah.
have countless studies that say, the more engaged employees are, the better they perform. And
Yeah.
one of the best ways to engage employees is to help them develop their careers. We know this. That's been proven so many times. So if you can connect the business to that, you've got a winning success,
But
winning outcome.
that's the key that we need to connect those three layers.
Yes.
We need to connect those three layers, and we need to and technology, the best. It's just helpful tool, not the strategy. The strategy is
Hmm.
different. The strategy is to align all those three layers together. And during my career, honestly, as much I'm huge fan of Kirkpatrick, but I hardly met 4 levels of evaluation.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing anyone. It is just because we are not doing it. We are just
Yeah.
not we
Yeah,
don't have
it's,
time, we don't have energy, we have other things to do. We have bunch of other trainings
yeah, I mean,
waiting, right?
that's the reality, I think, is that you end up, not just you, I mean,
Mm-hmm,
any like if you look at other orgs, like marketing is a really good
mm-hmm,
example, right? Marketing is constantly what's coming out next, what's the next ad, what's the next campaign, what's the next whatever. um but then this really big thing came about attribution, right? Of like,
mm-hmm,
well, how is this marketing coming back to
mm-hmm. Yeah,
dollars? And
yeah,
even in a field that is very digital, that is investing billions into this space, they still get it wrong a large majority of the time,
yeah,
right? They have people's whole job it is to just try to build those connections. And again, this is something fairly tangible, right? This is like,
yeah.
did the person spend money with us because of what you did or not? Now, obviously, there's nuance, right? Like like we went to an event last week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody does business with us because of that. We might never know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
maybe we do.
totally.
So, but level 4, it's really hard to get to. But I think a lot of it is just like this idea of where we are being pushed to just put more out, more out, more out. Which, if we leverage technology, at least for the little time we have right now, where we're in the honeymoon period, where you actually can leverage AI to do much more than your boss expects you to do.
Oh, that's amazing.
and,
That's
and and you have
fantastic.
time right now that we have a little bit more time because AI is allowing us to work faster.
Mhm.
And the bar hasn't been reset to this super high level. Maybe we have a
Yeah.
little bit more time to go back and look at these evaluations. Well, um, Joanna, thank you so much. This has been such a lively conversation. I really appreciate you sharing a lot of your wisdom over the different organizations, and digging into how people can leverage technology at all the different levels and how those things need to come together to really create this ecosystem. This has been a phenomenal conversation with you. Is there anything else, Joanna, that you wanted to share before we end the podcast?
Well, I just wanted to kind of leave our listeners with the message that we need to cooperate. We need to. I will kind of use another metaphor. We are kind of like a family.
Hmm.
We need to build our relationships, and building relationships, understanding, have this constant, dialogue. What do you need? How I can help you? How we can achieve the goal as a group together, and how we can use the resources which are available and which resources we can use for that reason. So, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Absolutely. Well, Jonah, thank you. We look forward to and maybe meet you sometime. You're in my old stomping grounds of Seattle. So if I'm in the area, we'll look up. Well, thank you
That
so
will be
much. Have a
lovely.
great
Thank
rest
you
of your
so much.
day. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.